welcome to my existential crisis. My name is Madison Epley.
And I'm Hailey Guthrie.
And happy holidays! Merry Christmas! Merry Chrysler! Happy Hanukkah! Kwanzaa!
Yeah, Kwanzaa never gets any love.
It doesn't get any love at all. I don't know anyone who celebrates Kwanzaa, but to anyone who does, happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa.
What was the thing?
I'm sorry. So I was taking a nap earlier, right?
Okay,
as one does. And
sorry.
That's fine. And
sorry.
That's fine. And my boyfriend comes in. He wakes me up because he's about to leave to go get his hair cut. He looks great, by the way, in case you were wondering.
Love it. I was.
And he's like, "Hey, babe, the neighbor came by, and he's pissed that you parked in front of his house. So you might want to start parking in front of our house again." And I said, "Are you fucking serious?" And he said, "Yeah." And there's a lot to this. Okay, that's just the thing. So you've been to my house. It's street parking.
Yeah, it's street parking. Well, that's the other thing too. Like, it's street parking.
It's street parking.
Like, you're not claiming a spot.
Yeah. But I started parking on the opposite side of the street because we're a one-way street, and the plows are pointed toward our side of the street.
Oh, do you guys have snow?
Yeah.
Oh shit. I didn't know that.
Do.
I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah, it's melted down quite a bit, but yeah, we definitely had some.
Okay. Yeah, plows. Makes sense.
So they push all the snow up against our cars.
And then you get snowed in.
Yeah, I do anyway.
Gotta shovel it out.
Christian is a freaking, Subaru or some shit. And he's, 4-wheel drive, so he gets out no problem. But, I have my little freaking Ford Fiesta with my crappy wheels. So I'm just trying, and I went out the one night after it had snowed, and I was like, I am going to go clean off my car, and I have paranoia over snowstorms and, my car, because there have been so many times where I've tried to leave a place and I can't because there's too much snow, and it literally can be the smallest amount of snow and I still can't get out. So I was like, you know what, while I'm out here cleaning my car off, I'm going to check and see if I can even, get out of my parking spot so I can go to work tomorrow. And I could not get out of my parking spot. Spent 15 minutes trying to get out. And then I shoveled a little bit. And then I spent 5 more minutes trying to get out. And then finally I was able to get out. I did a loop around. I came back, tried to get back into my spot. And I couldn't even get back into my spot. So I said, I'm not...
because of the snow?
Yeah. So I was like, I'm not dealing with this anymore, because there was no snow buildup on the other side of the street, because the plows only pushed the snow to our side. So I said, screw this, and I went and parked on the opposite side. I've been parking a house or two up from my house, but today when I got home, I just parked in front, across the street in front of my house. Mm-hmm. Didn't think it would be a big deal. But then, my boyfriend said that the neighbor came over and was like, is that her car? She shouldn't park where I always park my truck. And that is one of my biggest pet peeves, is when someone pitches a fit over street parking. Figure it out.
That's the thing. Figure it out.
If it inconveniences you, sorry. But, you don't own the street, and it's not...
you don't have an assigned parking spot.
No.
It is street public parking. I could park there for anything.
My old roommate Rachel was like, you should just start parking there forever now. And I would, but I'm not, I hate confrontation.
I know. I would do the same thing. I'd be like, okay, sorry, I'm gonna go back.
I'm gonna be mad about it, but,
yeah, but you're also gonna be I'm just gonna...
Yeah, I'm probably gonna, flip off his house every time I drive by.
That's pissy. Yeah. That is shitty. I meant shitty, not pissy.
That is something that really irks me in life, is just when, just get over it. But, we also, speaking of Kwanzaa, even though we're not talking about Kwanzaa anymore.
Okay.
So we went to do trivia at a local restaurant this past week, and this was our second week going, because we went 2 weeks ago, and we won. So we were like, oh, well, we gotta go, like, defend our title. And we went this past week, and it was so bad.
Why?
Because it was all Christmas questions.
Okay.
But it was all Christmas movies.
Okay.
But it was all the same, like, 4 Christmas movies.
Like, what movies were
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Okay.
Charlie Brown Christmas.
Okay.
Miracle on 34th Street.
The old one or the newer
one? The old one.
Okay.
And then I think A Christmas Story were the 4 that, like, he asked about the most.
Which Christmas Story?
Just Christmas Story. What do you mean?
Just in general?
What do you mean?
Oh, I'm thinking A Christmas Carol. Oh my gosh. I was like, there are like the Muppets Christmas Carol.
No,
like,
if they had asked
one?
Muppet Christmas Carol questions, we would have gotten it. But, no, and it was just like, that he would ask something, and I would be it would be like, from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and I would be like, There were a couple times I was literally like, God damn it, like, give me something else.
Question? Like, for A Christmas Story, I've seen that a million times. Like, what was something from there?
What is their last name? Oh, wait, no, it was,
I don't know.
it was, what is the main character's name in A Christmas Story, first and last?
Ralphie. Fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just know it was Ralphie, and then Mom and Dad.
Yeah. Parker.
What?
Parker. Yep.
I never would have guessed that in my life.
I was convinced it was Majors. I was like,
I would have thought it was
Majors.
like an Italian name, because his dad feels very Italian.
No.
Fragile.
He must be Italian.
Oh, that's where I'm
That's
getting
why
the Italian from. That's, never mind. He does not, he's like German or something.
But like, it was like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. What's Clarice's? No, I just mixed. Crap.
Did you give it away?
I did. it was what's the girlfriend's name? Clarice.
Clarice.
And then, well, from Rudolph, it was like, what is the secret that Yukon Cornelius knows about the abominable snowman? And we were all like, what the hell?
I've seen it when I was younger, but I couldn't tell you anything about it.
Well, I'm sitting there, like, in between rounds, I am like going.
Is he afraid of heights or something?
No, he can bounce.
He's socially anxious.
They can bounce or float or something like that.
He can bounce?
I don't know. I think they use him to, like,
the fuck?
I don't know, man. And then,
who thought of this shit?
God.
Burl Ives in the 1930s.
So this host isn't the normal, like, trivia host, I guess.
Oh, and is the trivia host the one who comes up with the questions?
I guess, yeah. And everyone in the crowd was like, Rick, who's the old guy, like, the other host that usually does it. Everyone wanted Rick back. I wanted Rick back, and this was only my second time going.
I want Rick back. I don't even know who Rick is.
Yeah, it was, like, Christian was literally like, if people are booing the questions you ask different questions. It was rough. I was so annoyed. It was
I've never heard of someone booing during trivia.
It was literally like, he'd be like, from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and everyone would be like, oh my god.
Oh my god.
Or it'd be like, from Charlie Brown Christmas, and they'd be like, oh, come on. It was ridiculous. And then so when you do a bonus round, I feel like you think, like, bonus round, quick, easy.
Yeah.
Tell me why this man.
For bonus round, I think it was a little harder.
It's a little harder, but I feel like it's not, like, time consuming.
Impossible. Oh yeah, no, not time consuming. Just, like, quick but harder. Like, either you know it or you don't.
Tell me why this man had us list 15 dates in December. What? He was like, here are 15 dates in December, and this is what the date is. Like, tell me what the date... Like, December 25th, Christmas.
Yeah?
Or, like, December 17th, the start of Hanukkah.
Oh, shit.
Tell me why.
You had to, like, know when holidays and things started and ended or something like that?
When they started. But also, it was, like, celebrity birthdays. So we'd get to,
what?
we'd get to, like...
like, mixed in with
this? I think it was, like, December 8th. It was, like, this is the birthday of a famous singer. What? And I was like, dude, what?
Who cares?
It took forever, Madison. It took forever. It took like, I don't even know how long. And then it took him
Bring
forever.
back Rick.
Yeah, bring back Rick. Oh, that's all I gotta say. Like, it was ridiculous. We were there. It started at 6:30, and I don't think we left until like 9:30.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and we wanted to leave. Like, Christian and his mom were like, let's go. And I was like, we did not come all this way. I want to know how we did. And then they didn't even tell us how we did.
What do you mean?
We weren't, like, we didn't make the cut to know what we got, I guess. I don't know.
They just didn't tell you anything?
They didn't
They're
tell
like,
us. They didn't tell us, like, they didn't rank us. Like, our team specifically weren't in the ranking, and I was pissed about that, and I looked at Christian, and I was like, I'm gonna go over there, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna ask this man, because I did not just sit through all that bullshit just to not know what I did. We got 44 and a half points, I think.
Out of how many?
I don't know. It was like
100?
That feels right. It's like, let me do some quick
100-point trivia. That's intense.
It's like 200-point trivia.
Oh my gosh.
Because there's 3 rounds and then the bonus round. And I think the bonus round is worth 4 points each. So maybe it was actually around 150. I don't know. But
gee, that's still insane.
I don't know. It's something
I feel like
like
trivia is supposed to be like 20 to 30 questions, and maybe.
Wait, hold on. I probably did that wrong. Maybe it's 100. Anyway.
But still, it's a lot.
Yeah,
regardless.
It was crazy. I don't know if we'll go back, honestly. I hope we do, because it was like a fun little thing that we got to do with Christian's family, but we shall see. Oh, God. I said, if we come back and that guy's hosting, though, we'll just leave.
Yeah.
That was my plan. That was what I said we would do.
Smart.
Yeah, but anyway, that's been kind of my couple days. Nothing else really exciting's going on. We haven't started demoing the kitchen yet. We
wish I could be there for that. That sounds so fun.
Yeah, I wish I could snap my fingers and have it be done already.
Yeah.
But it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fun. Started watching Full Metal Alchemist. It's
what is that?
An anime that it's like Christian's favorite show.
I was gonna say it sounded like an anime that David would watch.
Yeah, I'm into it. It's not my anime's not really my thing, but
me neither. I've tried really hard, but I can't get into it.
We just finished Steven Universe a few days ago.
How is that? I've never seen that.
Oh my god, I think you'd really like it.
That's what you said. You said it makes you cry. It has made you cry before.
It made me cry again.
Oh.
Yeah. We were watching, so there's like 5 seasons of the main show, then a movie, then a season of like, not a spin-off, but like a spiritual continuation. It's called Steven Universe Future, and it's just 1 season, and it's kind of about like, it's kind of just a season of dealing with the aftermath of everything. Bless you.
Thank you.
And Steven Universe Future gets me every time. It's so good.
Is it on Netflix or Hulu or something?
Hulu, but it's all messed up. HBO Max is what we watched it on.
Oh, I do have HBO now through David's parents. Thanks.
I'm telling you right now, the first season, for whatever reason, is 53 episodes.
What?
Yeah, I truly could not tell you why. Like, it's not like, oh, it's part of season 2. No, it's not part of season 2. It's just season 1 is 53 episodes.
Jeez Louise.
And a lot of season 1 is filler.
Okay.
Because it is a kids show, and it's a lot like,
yeah.
I've told Christian before, like, Adventure Time is a really popular show that I think I'd really like, but it's so long. It's like 7 seasons, I think.
Oh.
And there is so much filler in that show, especially like with Steven Universe in the first season. But with Steven Universe, like, I can't pinpoint episodes that are like, oh, I can skip here and it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like most things that happen are important. So I can't, like, just skip around.
Just fast forward. Yeah. Understood.
So that's the tricky part of that. But yeah. Everything else is, like, standard, like, 20 to 30 episode seasons. And they're all, like, the episodes themselves are, like, 11 minutes.
Okay, I was going to say 20 to 30 episodes. That's a lot for a season.
No, they're all in, like, 11-minute increments. Gotcha. I still think 53 is ridiculous. But then I feel like we got to a point where it'd be, like, some side character we didn't like, and we'd be like, oh, this is, like, a Ronaldo episode. Let's skip it.
I love that.
And it didn't have any bearing on the viewing experience too much, but...
Poor Ronaldo.
Ronaldo sucks.
No one gives a shit.
No one likes Ronaldo. Just kidding. I'm sure there are people out there who do like Ronaldo. I'm just not one of them.
Ronaldo, I like you. I'm sure I would if I knew you.
You don't.
We get to know each other.
You don't know him.
Let's go on a date. Let's get some coffee.
Okay, I'm telling David. Your girl is cheating on you. Anyway, sent. Done. He knows.
He knows.
All right. How's your week been?
This is the first week in the new apartment, and I love it. It was a very stressful, hectic week. Both last week and this week, we packed everything and moved everything in a week, which is insane. It was busy. I thought I was going to lose my mind, but it worked. We got out of the apartment early even, handed our keys in officially on Monday. Or no, yesterday. It was yesterday. So yeah, we officially live here now. I have a bedroom door, which is something I did not have in my old apartment. I have 2 bathrooms. Count them. 1, 2. And they're full bathrooms too, which is great. I have more space to like move. Like I'm in a different room than David is right now. I can't hear him and he can't hear me. That's nuts.
That must be so
Yeah.
nice.
It is so nice. I'm not used to this. So yeah, we have an office and we're going to put a guest bed in here. So whenever you guys come and visit, you'll have a place to stay.
That'll be nice.
Yeah, I'm so excited in general. I have more than just a couch. I have a couch and a dining room table, and I have a love seat now too. So we'll actually have like room to spread out and stuff. So I like it here a lot. Good. I'm super excited. Yeah, it's going really well. And I've been super busy with rehearsal and stuff, so I haven't been able to like set it up and make it homey yet. But it's fine. It'll come after the holidays. So
when is your show done?
So tomorrow is my last cabaret show, and then I just started rehearsal for a new show. So that one goes through March. But this was the last rehearsal I'll have for that show until the 3rd of January. So I'll have a nice little break. So hopefully like the week after Christmas, I can get some stuff done around here and finally set some things up.
Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be nice.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going really well. I know last week was like kind of doom and gloom, but I'm feeling much better now. Also, more news. I'm sorry, I'm so hyped today. It's 9:18 in the evening, so I shouldn't be, but I am. I upped my medication, so I just started taking that today. So we'll see how that increase in dosage goes, but yeah, I'm very optimistic. It's been a good week, even though it's been busy, and yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited for you,
and what the new year has to hold.
It's gonna be good. I think it
is gonna be good. I agree. Okay, I am putting this off. It's really awful. I didn't do anything that was super popular. I have never heard of this before. I looked this up and it horrified me. Just as a warning to everyone, this story is very horrific. It is very graphic. Content warning for child abuse, and if you don't like things that are too graphic or gruesome, this might not be the one for you because it's really awful. Have you heard of Sylvia Likens? This is not it, but I don't want to compare traumas and stuff, but it's very similar abuse-wise. It's not similar abuse. It's not quite to the same extent as Sylvia Likens, but it did remind me of that. Okay, well then we'll scratch this, but it's just awful. So, okay, this is the story of the torture and death of Kristy Bamu. It really just jumps right into the story. So to help ease into it a little bit, I'm going to give some extra background, or else we would just be getting right down to it. So here we go. On December 16th, 2010, 15-year-old Kristy Bamu traveled with his 4 siblings from Paris to London so that they could spend Christmas together with their older sister, Magali, and her recent fiancé, Eric Bikubi. What was meant to be a holiday season spent with family very, very quickly turned into a nightmare that nobody would have imagined. My sources are BBC, The Guardian, Medium, The Huffington Post, and International Business Times. So before I just jump right in and get straight to what happened, because it would really just jump right in, I'm just going to rewind a little bit and give a little bit of background on Magali and Eric. So Magali was born in the Dominican Republic of Congo in 1983. Her parents later moved to Paris, but then they soon returned to Congo, but they left Magali to live with her mother's niece in London. Do you follow that?
Magali was born...
She was born
in one place.
Congo.
Moved to another place.
Moved to Paris.
And then her parents moved back to Congo, but left her with... someone else.
Left her with family in London.
Okay, yes. So she's in London.
Yes, but her family is back in the Congo. So she purportedly did not have a great life there, according to a Medium article. I couldn't find anything that would corroborate that, but I did want to mention that. Later, she met Eric Bikubi. He was a football coach, and they began to date. The relationship started off really strong, but it turned sour very quickly. Eric became very controlling, verbally abusive, and refused to let her do things like see her friends or wear makeup. Eric was also born in Congo of the same year that Magali is, and his father raised him to believe in Kindoki, which is a witchcraft that is thought to be responsible for child possessions. And I want to preface also super early that I do not want to demonize other cultures and religion. That's not what this is about. And I especially don't want to demonize Black people's cultures. That's not what I'm here to do. It's also not meant to demonize immigrants or non-anglicized cultures, but I think that we're educated enough here to know the difference between a harmful tradition and a positive one. So that's where I'll leave that. And I'll explain what Kindoki is and what has happened because of that. So Kindoki has been responsible for child abandonment and abuse in children across the world, all over the world. And because children were often targeted in Kindoki, an elder in the religion would be responsible for exorcising and reading the demon that they thought was possessing the child. So ways to exorcise and get rid of the demon would include beatings, continuous prayer, fasting, water deprivation, water submersion, etc. Like just very, very harsh, extreme punishments, or, however you want to describe that. Some people think that the child being possessed can't feel the pain that's being inflicted. They think it's just the demon who's feeling it. But this is obviously not the case. Things that are thought to be signs of Kindoki possessions are very common child antics like wetting the bed, biting your nails, stealing. Children with disabilities are also really often targeted as thought to have been possessed, whether they have like autism or epilepsy or similar things that might make them act out differently than like a neurodivergent, or not neuro, that's the wrong word, a neurotypical child, or a child in good health. This has become an increasing problem within London and the UK and all over the world, but the Scotland Yard, which is the London Police Headquarters has investigated 83 cases involving abuse resulting from ritualistic or faith-based beliefs and brought about 17 prosecutions over the last 10 years as of 2012. So Eric would talk about visions he had when he was a child, seeing things that weren't there, and he really just became possessed. Oh my gosh. He became obsessed with his fear of sorcery and witchcraft, and he even dreamt at one point that his own brother killed him. He would frequently have nightmares, and to escape the spirits, he would move around London frequently to try to outrun them. It's also reported in multiple articles that Eric had either a mental impairment or brain damage of some kind, but I tried so hard and I couldn't find exactly what it was. Some articles said it was brain damage, some said it was a mental impairment. I couldn't find out what that was, but that is of note here. So, now that background is over, we're just jumping right in. So, what happened to Kristy? On December 20th, Kristy was locked out of the bathroom at his sister's apartment, and he desperately needed to go, and because he needed to go and he couldn't go, he accidentally wet himself. Obviously, he's 15 years old, he's embarrassed, he wants to hide this from his family. Like, who wants to admit that? Nobody. So he tried to hide his pants, but Eric found them, and he thought that this was a sign that Kristy was possessed. And things just quickly go south from this point. Are you following me so far? Okay, sorry. This is very quickly gets very bad, so I'm just making sure. Kristy and his siblings were accused of bringing witchcraft into his home and afflicting his 10-year-old son. Believing an exorcism needed to be done, Eric and Magali began the torture of her siblings. Over the next 4 days, remember, this happened on the 20th of December. So over the next 4 days, the 4 siblings were subjected to unimaginable abuse and torture at the hands of Eric and Magali, their own sister. So it started off prayer and sleep deprivation, water and food deprivation. That was just the beginning of things. And this was the beginning, but it also continued throughout the 4 days. So for 4 days, they were deprived of sleep and food and water, and they were constantly forced to pray. It also quickly escalated to beatings. Kristy's sister Kelly, who was 20 at the time, later recalled in her testimony, Eric began to hit Kristy while my sister was watching and didn't do anything. I begged him, we didn't do anything, we are innocent. Magali didn't argue at all. It was as if this was completely normal. She was just sitting there as a spectator. The beatings quickly escalated to the siblings being attacked with a knife, and one of the girls was even forced to eat a light bulb. I don't even know how that's possible, and I don't even like to think on it for too long, but that's just horrific. At one point, Eric told the siblings to jump out of the window to see if they could fly. Again, the siblings looked to Magali for help, but she just encouraged Eric's actions. Kelly also later recalled in her testimony, Eric hit Kristy. He was not feeling well. He was having trouble breathing, and he fell over. As far as Eric and Magali were concerned, that was the Kendoki coming out of him. The sisters confessed to being witches in order to escape the further attacks and in order to not have to jump out of the window. And even though this gave them relief from the abuse, Kristy was still the main target, and because he was the one who had, quote unquote, proven himself to be evil. Kristy's 2 brothers, aged 13 and 22, the elder one being autistic, according to one report, were forced to join in the torture of Kristy. So again, it just gets really awful. Kristy was struck in the mouth with a hammer and a chisel, knocking out multiple teeth. A heavy weightlifting bar was also shoved down his throat. His head was smashed with ceramic tiles and bottles, and parts of his ear were ripped and twisted off by pliers. He was also repeatedly hit with a claw hammer, and it completely smashed all of his limbs. And when they did the autopsy, they found that over 100 injuries were done on his body. Reports varied between 101 to 130, but regardless of the number, it was a lot and it was horrific. And just throughout these 4 days, just constant, nonstop. So over these 4 days, the siblings did speak to their parents who were back home in Paris, but Eric threatened Kelly with a knife when she spoke to her parents, and Eric forced her to lie about how they were doing. In one of these calls, towards later on, I don't know exactly the day, I would imagine it was either the 24th or the day before, Magali actually got on the phone with her dad, and she said, quote, "Dad, you've got to pick the children up because they're witches and you're a witch too." And then Eric hopped on the call and he said, quote, "You've got to come and pick up the children. You've got to pick up Kristy because he's a witch and he's practicing witchcraft on another child of the family. If you don't, I'm going to kill him." The father, Pierre, recalled, quote, "When he said that, I wanted to say something to him. Then straight after that, I heard Kristy's voice. Kristy was talking in a calm voice. He wasn't crying. He just spoke to me in a voice like we're using now. Dad, come and get me. Otherwise, Eric will kill me." And then he was cut off. When Eric said that, knowing Eric as I do, I said, "It's not going to come to that because he's a nice person, a really nice person." Well, it did come to that. At the end of Kristy's just brutal attacks, he was still alive, and all of the children were then put in the bathtub to be sprayed and cleansed by Eric. At this point, Kelly also testified that Kristy was just begging to die to be put out of his misery, which is just like, just so heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to think about all of this happening to him and like reading it and doing the research on it. But like, I can't even imagine after 4 days of this, and then you're just like wanting it to end, and it's supposed to be Christmas. Like, you're supposed to be enjoying time with your family, and this is what you have instead. So, as the bath filled up during their cleansing, Kristy was so weak that he was unable to keep his body upright, and his ultimate cause of death was drowning on Christmas morning. Authorities were finally called. Again, I couldn't find who actually called them. I don't know if it was Pierre who got worried and called them from Paris and he was trying to rush home. I kind of assume it was Magali or Eric after pulling Kristy's lifeless body out of the tub and realizing he was very severely hurt. I don't know why at that point you're like, hey, maybe we should get help for this. I don't know, but regardless. The police walked into a horrific scene. The 3 remaining children were hysterical, soaked in water, and just terrified, and they were just standing in the living room right whenever the police walked in. They didn't speak English because they're from Paris. There was blood all over the apartment, on the ceilings, walls, furniture, and on all of the tools used in the abuse. Magali and Eric were both arrested. Eric claimed self-defense because he said Kristy was a witch, and he would only admit to manslaughter due to his mental impairment. Again, could not find what that was or what it was, but there was that. Magali claimed she was forced to participate along with her siblings because, remember, the siblings were then also forced to turn on Kristy and beat him up themselves, which is, again, just horrific. She denied any involvement at all, which is beyond me. At the trial, it was revealed that a young woman stayed with Eric and Magali 2 years before this happened, and she was also accused of being possessed due to biting her nails. During the 3 days she stayed with them, Eric refused to let her eat or sleep, and the couple would sit and pray with her. They also shaved her hair off to release the evil spirits. The girl called her mom and she was able to escape, but this led to punishment for Magali for letting her go. It was reported that Eric made her eat off of the floor and gave her a black eye. And then Magali did leave to go to a women's shelter and stay with them. But then she later returned to Eric, and then they soon after got engaged. When ruling on the case, the judge said the belief in witchcraft, however genuine, cannot excuse an assault to another person, let alone the killing of another human being. He also noted Magali's lack of remorse throughout the trial. I think at one point there was a quote and she was denying her involvement in it, but when they asked if she was sorry for what had happened, when they asked her if she was sorry for what had happened, she said no, and they got exactly what they deserved. Eric was sentenced to a minimum of 30 years in prison, and Magali was sentenced to a minimum of 25, which I think is just unbelievably low for what happened. And on June 2012, Kristy's family released the following public statement. "We will never forget, but to put our lives back into sync, we must forgive. We take no comfort in the verdicts. We have been robbed of a beloved son, a daughter, and a son-in-law. Kristy died in unimaginable circumstances at the hands of people who he loved and trusted. People who we all loved and trusted. Christmas, a festival of joy, and Jacqueline's birthday," Jacqueline is the mother, "will also be scarred by these terrible events. We were always fond of Eric and regarded him as a son. We were proud that he would call us mom and dad. As a family, we planned our futures together, and Eric and I were to open a restaurant in London together as a legacy for our family. To know that Kristy's own sister Magali did nothing to save Kristy makes that pain so much worse. We are still unaware to the full extent of the brutality. We cannot bring ourselves to hear it. The pain of Kristy's death is something which cannot be measured or calculated. Kristy was a fine young man, kind and considerate, much loved by his family and friends. We saw that he was becoming a man. We hoped that he would work with me in my carpentry business and one day take over. Kristy was also a role model to his siblings. The children are often quiet and alone in their rooms. We try to stay strong for them, and Jacqueline and I are compelled to grieve alone so as not to distress the children." But yeah, that is the story, and I wish I had a better way to end that, but I don't.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just kind of
so
blew
heavy.
through that. It was awful. It was really heavy. And I was trying to find a Christmas related something, and I didn't want to do one that everyone had done, and I wasn't going to do this one because it was so heavy, but
Right.
I also felt like Kristy deserved to have his story told, and this is not one that I have ever heard before in my life, and I think it deserves to be said. And also it's so close to us. Like whenever crimes are in the past, or there's like a distance to
Right.
it. But this was only 10 years ago. I was 13. We were in middle school together. Like it just feels so close. Like this could have been, not that it could have been us, but like he was our age.
Right. Yeah. My heart goes out to his family. For sure. His siblings for enduring what they did. They're much stronger than I think I will ever be. I hope that I just hope that they get the help that they need. I hope that if they're comfortable seeking therapy, that they seek it. I can't imagine the kind of trauma that situation would put on you. I can't.
And again, like, it's your sister. Like, your sister's doing that to your brother.
Yeah. My heart really goes out to that family. I can't even imagine.
No, not at all. So yeah, that is the story. And like I had mentioned before, Kentucky, while I definitely, we're not proponents of demonizing different cultures like that, I think we can all have our eyes opened to knowing that this is not something that is
if you see something, say
positive.
Something.
Exactly. If you see something, say something. Then that's what it comes down to. If you or someone you know is if you think that they're a victim of child abuse, like Hailey said, if you see something, say something. The Child Help Hotline national number is 1-800-422-4453. Obviously, if it's an emergency, or if you believe it's an emergency, call 911. That's the other thing I wanted to mention. I know that especially if you don't want to assume the worst, you might be hesitant to call 911, but that's what they're there for. That's their jobs. Your taxes are being paid to pay them to do their job. So, I mean, the worst comes to worst, you call them and everything is fine. But, I mean, better to be safe than sorry.
The word doppelganger is a noun of German origin. Its definition is an apparition or double of a living person, but the historical context is a lot darker. According to lore, seeing one's doppelganger could spell misfortune, even death. Several famous historical figures such as Percy Shelley, best known for being the husband of Mary Shelley, the acclaimed author of Frankenstein, and even Abraham Lincoln claimed to see their doppelgangers before meeting an untimely demise. However, one of the strangest cases of doppelgangers is that of Emily Segui. Do you know anything about this?
I know nothing about this.
Keep in mind, before I share this story, there is no real historical, fact behind it.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
Well,
they can't be proven?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even when I looked up, the name of the school that is featured in this story, I could not find any factual records of a place like that ever existing. Okay. But it is arguably the most famous case of doppelgangers, so I'm still going to talk about it.
Go for it.
The story was reported by 3 authors, Robert Dale Owen, Camille Flammarion, and Alexander Askakov, from the witness Julie de Goldenstube.
De Goldenstube.
Goldenstube?
Stube.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Julie
Goldenstube.
Julie de Goldenstube. Goldenhuba? Anyway. In 1845, in what is present-day Latvia, Emily Segui began her 19th teaching position at an all-girls boarding school.
Jeez.
Yeah, she was...
How old was she?
She was 32.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. 19?
Yep. She's...
What year was this?
1845.
Okay, that makes sense. They hop around a lot.
Yeah, she supposedly started working when she was 16.
Okay.
Makes
a lot more sense.
She was an anxious young woman, but was very kind and good at her job.
Yo, same.
No one could really understand why she'd been turned away from so many jobs until shit got weird.
Oh.
One of the first instances reported, I should say, of weird things going on. Rumors started popping up a few weeks after she arrived. One student saying, "Oh, I saw Miss Segui over here." Then another student saying, No, you didn't. I just saw her over there." Things like that. And then one day, Mademoiselle Segui was giving a lesson to a class of 13 students, which included Julie de Goldenstube. While she was writing on the blackboard, a double suddenly appeared.
What do you mean?
There were suddenly 2...
just next to her?
There were suddenly 2 Mademoiselle Seguis.
Jeez.
They were exactly alike. They used the same gestures. The only difference was the real Emily Segui held a piece of chalk in her hand.
Oh, the other one didn't have chalk? Oh, don't like that. Don't like that at all. No. Nope.
Soon after, one of the pupils was assisted by Mademoiselle Segui. She was being helped into a dress of some sort. Because you know how dresses were back then. They were annoying.
Yes.
When the student turned to look in an adjacent mirror, she saw not one Mademoiselle Segui helping her into the dress, but 2.
Oh, no.
She reportedly fainted.
I would.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Over time, The reports continued. And the craziest thing that happened was when the 42 students of the school were all in the same room. They were working on their embroidery. And on one side of the room, there was a wall that was pretty much just all windows. And they could see Mademoiselle Sagui in the garden gathering flowers. The teacher stepped out of the room and left her armchair at the front of the room vacant. But it was quickly filled.
No.
By Mademoiselle Sagui.
No!
When the young ladies looked to the garden, she was still in the garden picking flowers. Some remarked that she seemed to move very slowly, as if she became drowsy or exhausted, even. And when they looked at the armchair again, she just sat there, silent, not moving. 2 of the students decided to get up and attempted to touch her. And when they touched her, they said they felt a slight resistance, as if touching loose fabric or cobweb.
Oh.
One of the 2 passed close in front of the armchair and actually threw a part of the apparition. The apparition did not respond to this or change position. And it finally disappeared. And Mademoiselle Sagui resumed with her flower gathering. And I believe that was actually like Christmas break. Funny enough. So
Okay.
Or a break of some sort. The students...
At first I was like, why are you telling me that? And then I'm like, oh, Christmas is in 5 days. Or it was yesterday when this comes out.
Parents began to worry about the strange events that their children told them about, and after 18 months, only 12 students were left out of 42.
Oh, shit.
Because of this, Sagui was asked to resign, and when she was told to resign, she said, in front of Julie de Goldenstube, this is the 19th, something to the effect of, this is the 19th time, I can't believe this happened again. And it turned out that, yeah, she'd been a teacher in 18 different schools. And I mean, I think we know why. I think we know why they flew through her so fast. It's because people could literally fly through her. After she left the school, she went to live with a sister-in-law. Julie de Goldenstube went to pay her a visit. And when she spoke to the children, she was like, hey, where's your aunt? And they were like, oh, we don't know right now, but she's not hard to find. And Julie was like, what do you mean?
Naturally.
And they were like, oh, well, there are 2 Aunt Emilys. And
nope.
That is the story of Emily Sagui. Apparently, she left for Russia, and Julie lost track of her.
Jeez.
Like I said, this story isn't really, like, there's no real proof. It says that Camille Flammarion... God. It says that Camille...
If I edit this, I'm keeping that in.
Camille Flammarion went...
Filet mignon?
Camille, who I mentioned earlier, actually went to Dijon, where Emily was supposedly...
Yo, Camille Flammarion. Camille Filet Mignon and Dijon.
I'm gonna punch myself in the... During a trip to Dijon, Camille Flammarion, who I mentioned earlier, tried to find out more about Emily Sagui, but he could not find anything.
Okay.
No family name as Sagui was ever recorded in French civil registry between 1891 and 1990.
Oh.
No one... Yeah, there was...
Just no record?
No real record of her. you for listening to My Existential Crisis. You can find us at our various social media
Facebook,
locations.
Instagram, Twitter. We're on YouTube, anywhere you find your content. MEC Crisis Pod.
Merry holidays, everybody.
Merry holidays. Have the best holiday. Please stay safe. Happy New Year. We'll talk to you then. Have fun. Be safe. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye.